Terry, what are some of the things your organization has done with some states, including New Jersey, where first-time offenders aren't even jailed for domestic violence?
You know, I'm really proud that NOW was one of the major organizations ensuring passage of the Violence Against Women Act, which, by the way, the anniversary of the passage of that law is this month. I think it's the 13th of this month. Since that law was passed in 1996, we've made real strides to protect women, to provide services for victims of violence, and to hold perpetrators accountable. But I have to tell you, the programs established by the Violence Against Women Act have never been fully funded. So we have not had the complete success that we really need to have and that we could have. So my organization has worked at the state level, at the local level, and at the national level to get policies put into place in municipalities and in states and in the federal government to work with employers, how to protect workers who are victims of domestic violence. Clearly, what the NFL has a problem is they've got workers who are perpetrators of domestic violence. It's a different type of set of programs that you would need. But, yeah, my organization has definitely worked with that. And there are other organizations, the National Network to End Domestic Violence, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, really wonderful organizations that have been at the forefront of trying to make these changes.
Terry Neal, the president of the National Organization for Women, here on the Michael Kay Show, ESPN New York 98.7 FM and simulcast on Yes. Terry, I mean, the world is what the world is, and money makes the world go round. Roger Goodell makes the owners a lot of money. And my feeling is that Roger Goodell is not going to go anywhere unless the owners think the bottom line is going to be affected. So does NOW have a plan to picket the NFL and get to sponsors and things like that, or are you just calling out and hoping that he steps down? Or are you looking to hit them right where it hurts?
You know, I think that absolutely we are engaged in this discussion for the long haul, and what I would like to see is the fans and the owners. But certainly the fans taking a step back and looking at the NFL's business model. You're absolutely right. They make a ton of money off of really exciting football games. Football is fun to watch. That's why almost half of the fans are women. But what the NFL is doing is, one way you can look at it is they're selling entertainment. It's a vision of tough guys who compete hard. They play to win. And it's fun, and it's kind of a masculinity as entertainment. There is no necessary connection between masculinity and guys who get out there and really compete. You don't have to make a connection between that and trashing women, but that is how the NFL is making its money. That's what needs to change.
But Terry, is your organization organizing pickets of stadiums this weekend?
Not this weekend, but stay tuned.
What's your feeling on Janae Rice defending her husband? I mean, you obviously have done much research into domestic violence, and we've talked to people who said that that's part of the issue as well, where the person who is abused defends the abuser. What do you think about that, and why do you think she is doing that, defending her husband?
I have to tell you that different women respond to domestic violence in different ways, and one tactic or strategy that women have used to keep themselves safe is to sort of attach themselves ever closer to their abuser, try to set up it's you and me against the world, babe, and direct his rage and his anger outward so that she can stay safe from his anger. Other women have stay in relationships precisely because maybe their abuser has threatened the children or the pets or her family. Extricating yourself from a violent relationship takes courage, it takes brains, it takes strategy. And there are many different types of strategies and tactics that women use when they find themselves in that situation. I am not going to condemn Janae Rice. She's in the position that she finds herself in, and she is not a public figure. And frankly, as I said before, I don't think the problem is Ray Rice. I think the NFL has fostered these outcomes. I think the NFL has created a culture in which it was more likely than not that NFL players are going to find themselves committing these acts. And so it's not a Ray Rice problem. It's not a Janae Rice problem. It's an NFL problem.
In your research, Terry, Major League Baseball, hockey, basketball, are they doing a better job, or are they just not as big and popular for people to notice when things go awry?
It's partly that NFL that football is really the sport of the United States, and that's where the spotlight is, and it's partly because video, I mean, really graphic video is impossible to ignore. But throughout the sports world, we really need to take a look at whether those sports are peddling entertainment that includes demeaning women as part of what they're selling. That's what's going on in the NFL today. It was not always thus. It should not be this way, and that needs to change. And I think you have to get new leadership in there to make it change. But certainly anywhere else in the sports world where demeaning and degrading women is part of the package, that needs to change, because as we now know, looking at the NFL, that puts real women's physical safety and sometimes their lives at risk.
Now, we have about a minute, Terry, and I'm sorry to throw this to you in a minute, but, I mean, I have to disagree a little bit. I mean, Ray Rice deserves a lot of the blame here, and Roger Goodell didn't throw that punch. Ray Rice did.
Absolutely. Ray Rice needs to be held accountable for his actions. Roger Goodell is the CEO of the NFL. His job is to respond appropriately when this happened. He has failed to do his job. When you fail to do your job, you get fired.